G'day guys, just doing an oil change on a 1.6 litre Volkswagen Golf engine. It's the 77 kilowatt one. Anyway, let's get into it. So first off, we've got to get the cover off, and there's an oil filter. It's a cartridge type and it's just way under there, but we'll get to that in a sec. The oil filter for these ones, you're gonna have to remove this. It's a little bracket, and underneath the bracket is the oil filter. Now that's a cartridge type, so make sure you get your part numbers right on. This one's a 2010, like I said, and it's a little bit tricky. So underneath here is a nice big cover. So these require some Torx bits. So if you don't know what a Torx bit is, it's that shape there, and it's a Torx bit 25. And now these sort of go one in, one out, one in, one out, one in, one out. This one has a screw there. There's quite a few along the edge on each side. And right at the back, just to be difficult, get along under here, are some different ones, and they're just your normal sort of Phillips head, but they're quite big, so you need a quite big Phillips head back there. Now I've got a little specialty tool here, not that special, but it's just one of these with a big Phillips head bit on it. So I'm going to get this off, and then I'll show you where the plug is for the sump. Alright guys, so we've got this off. Now I use this, but I realised I could probably also just use one of these. So if you got a stubby screwdriver that's a Phillips head, you can use that. So there's quite a few bolts here. So right down the back, you got 1, 2, 3. Then you got another one here, 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 and here. Now these ones are all Torx. These ones are all Torx, so there's 4 there, 4 there, and 3 at the back. Now, my one has 1 at the front here as well, holding that on. But like I said, these sort of slip 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out. Anyway, once you got that off, you have access to the oil plug, wherever that may be. Here it is. It's right here, the one that's actually covered in oil. Anyway, that's the oil plug right there, the drain plug. Right, so I'm not sure what that is. It might be like a 16 or something. We'll have a look in a sec. I'll get that off. It's a 19. I've given that a bit of a wipe. We're gonna go ahead and crack this, and I've got the yellow pan down here now. Guys, we got that plug undone. So while we're waiting for that oil to drain, we can go ahead and pop off this one here. I'm pretty sure it's a Torx 30. And now this bracket just lifts away. Now you can sort of fold it out of the way, and now we can access the oil filter cartridge. So as you can see on there, that's quite a big one. We're going to use a socket for this one, and then as soon as that cap's off, then we can pull the old cartridge out. It should be actually sort of stuck to the cap. Righto, so it's all out, and it's a 32mm nut. I used a extension with a big socket. Now the cartridge is stuck to the lid. Now in your Ryco packages or oil filter, you'll get the cartridge, and you'll get a couple of O-rings like these ones just sitting up the top here. They all have to be replaced. I did make a bit of a mess. Just have a rag ready to clean up any spills. So here's the filter, R2701P. Again, Ryco. I usually just use the Ryco brand, it's usually pretty good. Alright, in the box you'll get, apart from the cartridge filter, you get an O-ring, a couple of them actually. So you'll get the two little ones that go on the end here, and the big one that goes around the seal at the top. These must all be replaced, and you can get them off with possibly a small flathead screwdriver. If you've got a pick tool, I like to use a pick tool. Actually pretty cheap on eBay. I think I got mine for like $7, but if you don't have one, you can use one of these, and they just pop straight off. Be gentle, it is plastic, so you don't want to damage the plastic. Okay, so these filters sort of only go one way, and they just clip into the base and then straight back in. Do put a little bit of lubricant around these new seals, either old or new. Any lubricant will do, as long as it's just the engine oil that you got. Righto. Don't forget to put the bracket back on. Done. That'll do a wiggle. Could go a little bit tighter. Make sure when you start the car up and check any for leaks down there. Just have a quick look after you add the engine oil, of course. And so I've got my homemade funnel here, good as any. Just make sure it's clean, all straight in. I'm using some Nylon 5W30 fast flowing semi-thin aesthetic. Yeah, choice is yours, but yep, that's what I'm using. Okay, so everything's back together now. We've got the cover back on. Obviously, before we put the oil in, we put the cover back on, and then the drain plug back in, and then we changed the cartridge and put the oil in. Now she's all good to go. Make sure you run it. Maybe run it without the cover on first. It's just clip on and clip off, and then you can look at the oil filter for any leaks. Righto guys, thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.